The Gospel, according to Luke, the 19th chapter. He entered Jericho and was passing through. A man was there named Zacchaeus. He was a chief tax collector and was rich. He was trying to see who Jesus was, but on account of the crowd he could not, because he was short in stature. So he ran ahead and climbed a sycamore tree to see him, because he was going to pass that way. When Jesus came to the place, he looked up and said to him, Zacchaeus, hurry and come down, for I must stay at your house today. So he hurried down and was happy to welcome him. All who saw it began to grumble and said, he has gone to be the guest of one who is a sinner. Zacchaeus stood there and said to the Lord, look, half of my possessions, Lord, I will give to the poor, and if I have defrauded anyone of anything, I will pay back 4 times as much. Then Jesus said to him, today salvation has come to this house, because he too is a son of Abraham. For the Son of Man came to seek out and to save the lost. This is the gospel. Praise to you, Lord Christ. Good morning. Welcome here on All Saints Sunday celebration. For those of you who may not know, Friday was actually All Saints Day. And since we don't hold the second service on Friday, we utilize today.
Show the slide and go back.
The Christian celebration of All Saints Day or All Souls Day stems from a belief that there's
He's got
a
special
powerful
slides
spiritual
up there.
between those in heaven.
So I'll tell you.
I believe in that bond. And I also believe it's important to know while we use this day to remember those who have passed before us. All Saints Day is ultimately the day to remember the Christ's victory over death. It's a celebration of that victory. The victory that God shares with us and our loved ones. Trusting that we will see each other again is a promise from God. We all can celebrate and be thankful. When we hear about Zacchaeus today, Zacchaeus was a wee little man. Was he? He climbed up in the sycamore tree and the door he wanted to see. Anyone? I thought it's a catchy tune, but maybe somebody else can sing it a little better than me. So I'll be honest, until 4 days ago, right? Laura's like, Until 4 days ago, I'd never heard that song. But I did think it was a catchy little tune. So if you've never heard it, YouTube it. It's cute. Zacchaeus was a tax collector, and he was short, which is also something I don't know anything about. But tax collectors, when most of us think about tax collectors, what do we think of? We might cringe, might think of money, paying. That's the one you want. Paying money, you might shudder a bit. You might just have an empty feeling in your pit, of your stomach, you know. But throughout the New Testament, tax collectors are mentioned several times. And today's not the first day we hear about it. In chapter 3, tax collectors come to Jesus to be baptized and ask for Christ. And Jesus tells them, collect only what is needed. In chapter 5, Levi throws a huge party at his house, invites tax collectors, Jesus, other people, over, only to have the Pharisees question the disciples, saying, why do you hang out with tax collectors and sinners? In chapter 15, we go on, there's the parable of lost sheep, lost coin, and lost son. Luke is constantly reminding us that Jesus is the key to be fraternizing and hanging out with these types of people. Why were they so bad? They were bad because back in the day, tax collectors, 2,000 years ago, tax collectors came up. They were detested by the Jews of Jesus' day. They were detested because of their perceived greed and their collaboration with the Roman occupiers. And they actually represented the worst people of society. Thank you, Pastor. worst people in society. Tax collectors and soldiers, they helped Rome continue its domination of the land. Now, these tax collectors, they amassed personal wealth by demanding payments in excess of what Rome actually levied, and that's what they wanted. They were also considered traitors because they were Jews themselves. They were of their own kind. They were detestable, repulsive. Again, they were considered the worst kind of sin. It would be as if Peter were going around, and he had his posse, in case of fire and for sentence, behind the baseball bats. And they would go to your house, and they just show up today and they say, "You owe us $10,000. We like your car, and you owe us $15,000. You had no idea they were coming. You had no idea they would show up. But they'd show up and they'd say, "Give us this money." Or they'd go through all your belongings and take what they wanted and take what was unhappy. And they would leave. You didn't have much choice. You did it, or you paid the price. Those two. Now here's the thing. Right? We all know our taxes. We all know our tax rates. We may not like them, but we still choose to live in one way. But back in Jerusalem, back in the day of Jericho, they didn't know this. They didn't know what they were doing and what they were doing. They just knew, again, what Zacchaeus showed them, that they had to pay. They had to give everything they had. Talk about giving to others. In today's gospel, Jesus sympathizes with Zacchaeus. And the sympathy is as much as a calling. Because he doesn't just go to him and say, "You, in truth, come down here." He goes to him and he calls him by name. He knows his name. He doesn't have to ask him. He knows his name. He says, "Zacchaeus, come down. Come down from the tree." Right? In this calling by name, Jesus knows. He knows Zacchaeus. He knows where he comes from. He knows what he's done. He knows what he's doing. He knows what he's going to do. And in his invitation, he's coming down and calling him. He says, "I'm also staying in your house. I'm going to stay with you today." And remember, he's the worst sin in society. Everybody starts talking. Why is he hanging out with him? Oh my gosh, Jesus, what's he doing? Why is he hanging out with Zacchaeus? He could be hanging out with the righteous pastor, Pharisee, nobles, right? Somebody certainly more righteous than Zacchaeus. Somebody certainly more worthy and credible than Zacchaeus. Why wouldn't Jesus hang out with somebody like that? Why would he hang out with this miserable scumbag? What is he doing? Doesn't make sense. Now, an informal definition of saint is one that is virtuous, kind, or a very patient person. And I truly, I tell you, by definition, my wife is one of the most saintly people I know. In fact, I thank you all our saints for putting up with me, but she just happens to do it on a more consistent basis. But formally, if we add to that definition, of virtuous, kind, and patient, I think is someone that is regarded as being intelligent. Again, saint is someone who's regarded as being intelligent. After that. And that's what I like for. That's what I hear in the story. That's what's so important about today. That's what we're all trying to do. How many saints have you known in your time? And when I ask this question, do you think of the likes of Mother Teresa, Joan of Arc out there? Or do you think of your grandparents, a child, a friend, your neighbor? I should say, I typically thought of a saint as someone that has been with their whole life, their entire life. You can't find anything bad about them. Someone who will ask about them in public, no one has a negative thing to say about. At least that's what my mind used to. Zacchaeus in today's gospel, he wasn't always a good man. He did nasty things. Matthew, the apostle, one of Jesus' disciples, is regarded as a saint. Right? Guess what he did? Tax collector. Cannot tax collectors become saints? In chapter 18, Jesus tells us again, he proclaims that the sinner, the tax collector, beating his chest, standing up before God, proclaiming his sinfulness, would be justified long before the Pharisee standing next to him, proclaiming his own righteousness and praying about himself. Jesus does not want a Pharisee who sees himself as better than everyone else. He wants you and I. He wants those of us that profess our sin and say, "God help me. I'm a poor, miserable sinner." As Christians, we are chosen and we are called. Zacchaeus, Levi, and the other tax collectors, the adulteress, the criminal, the undesirables are all whom Jesus chose to touch with gospel. These are the people Jesus chose to emulate his life of growth. You and I are who he chooses to emulate the life of growth and faith. It doesn't matter what point in your life you chose God. He loves us always and unconditionally. And that's the great news about today, All Saints Sunday. Like it or not, we're all in. If someone asks you how many saints you have ever known, you can confidently say, all. Everyone. Everyone you have ever known. That is why we're here today. Because we trust God. And we trust God in the sacrifice that he gave us with his son, Jesus Christ. In Christ's victory over death. And sin on that cross. With Christ's victory, we will be victorious in the world. Just like Jesus knew Zacchaeus and knew what was on his heart, God knows you, and God knows what's on your heart. Rest assured, heaven is not waiting.
John.